In the second portion about the preposition, we'll talk about the prepositions of place. So you will see that often we make a difference when we use the preposition when we are in or at a place and when we go to a place. So we make a difference if we are in movement or not. So let's start when there is no movement. We'll use the preposition in for geographical places. So we're not in movement, and geographical places means a city, province, country, or a continent. If we check the example here, we live in New York, so in a city. They are in Ireland for the week, in a country. He is staying in Ontario this month. You were in Europe last year, and Brazil is in South Africa. So always use in when you're not in movement for geographical places. Now, for places and events, we will use at when we're not in movement. So we are at a place or at an event. So at some places, we could be at the restaurant, at the hotel, at work, at school, or at an address, at a complete address. So what we mean by a complete address is what you have the number and the name of the street. So at 1139 King Street, for example. Great. So same thing for events, at Christmas, at the meeting, at the wedding, at the conference, and at the party. Great. Now, we'll use on with streets and a surface. Good. A surface, a floor, a wall, a paper, a book, etc. Good. So for streets, we'll say they live on King Street. So as I said earlier, if you have the number and the name of the street, you will use at. But if it's only the name of the street, it's on. And again, there is no movement here. We'll stay in the non-movement. Great. The store is on 5th Avenue. She lives on a boulevard. The factory is located on Road 112. You drive too fast on the highway. Great. So whether it's a street, avenue, boulevard, highway, it's on. Great. Now we go to on a surface. There's a painting on the wall. Could you put the plates on the table, please? Look at the spider on the ceiling. There's a nice picture on the cover of that book. I will write the address on the board. Good. Now let's go to preposition in movement. Good. So as soon as you're talking about a movement, as soon as you use a verb of movement, go, travel, drive, walk, as soon as you're going from point A to point B, you use the preposition to. All right? So to geographical places, to places, to events. When it's a movement, you will change the prepositions in, at, and on for to. Good. So let's see here. The Quins go to Florida every winter. If I change the verb go for the verb to be, I would say the Quins are in Florida every winter. So the verb has a big importance here in prepositions. All right. I will fly to Asia next month. I will be in Asia. If I use be, it's in Asia. Geographical place is in. But here we use to because to fly, it's a verb of movement. Now we're going to walk to the restaurant. It's near. I'm going from home, from the place that I am to the restaurant. Good, it's a movement. He's going back to the hotel. Same logic, go back, we're in movement. They came late to the meeting. I went to my sister's birthday last week. Great. With to, we have 3 exceptions that you have here on the right side. Home, here, and there. Never use the preposition to with home, here, and there. Well, There won't be any prepositions, actually, even if we are in loop. Good. So I'm driving home, not to home. So you skip to in that case. Can you come here? Don't go there. All right. So there's no to with home, here, and there. Great. Now we use the preposition to with other expressions. Good. If I make a trip, I will say I make a trip to. So we can make a trip to Disneyland, Indonesia, Peru, Florida, etc. Good. To make a cruise, you go on the boat to the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and a visit to. So we can have a visit to the museum, to the zoo, to the castle, whatever the visit, it's a visit to. And we have the expression on my way to. So on my way to the office, to work, to Montreal, etc. So on my way to, it's when I go, for example, from home to the office, and I say on my way to the office, I stopped by the store. Would be that. All right, and then we say close to or near. We can use, well, with near, you never use the preposition to, only with close. Okay? If something is close to the neighborhood, close to my house, in that case, we use close to, but if I use near, it would be near the neighborhood, near my house, right? And note that house, it's not the same thing as home, good? With house, we can use the preposition to, good? I go home, but I can go to my house. With house, it would be okay to use to. Good. So if we say get to means arrive. So to arrive in a city, in a geographical places, or arrive at a place. Well, it's exactly the same meaning, get to, arrive in, or arrive at. But whether you use get or arrive, you will change the preposition. So with get, always use to. Good, that means arrive. We will get to Sydney by 10 o'clock. But if you go on you check on the second column, if you use arrive, we would say in Sydney. We will arrive in Sydney by 10 o'clock. I got late to the shop. So got, the past of get, we use to. Even if I use a word between late, we still keep the same preposition. If I use I arrived late, I will say at the shop, at a place. Good. We got to the meeting just on time, or we arrived at the meeting just on time. Good. That means that if you use the verb arrive, you keep the regular preposition in for geographical places and at for places. You keep the regular ones for a non-movement. Good. But if you decide to use the verb to get, in that case, you will always use the preposition to. Good. And then we'll see. We have a special case with transportation, right? We make a difference between public transportation and private transportation. Good. So get in and get out means to enter or to go out of a car, of a private transport. Good. So I can say get in, to enter, get in a car, a truck, a taxi, etc. So when we say private, that means that you are alone. Well, it's exclusively for yourself. Well, it belongs to you, or as the example of a taxi, you're not with a group. Well, usually you're not in a group in a taxi. It's really designated for one person or, well, a group of person, but you know each other, right? Get out would be the opposite. So you get out of a car, a taxi, a truck, etc. Right? But when we talk about a public transport, we use get on to say to enter and get off, right? So we don't get in a plane, we get on a plane. Get on a plane, get on a train, get on a bus. Good. So it's public. You are a large amount of people in the same transportation. Good. So you are on the ride to go somewhere. Good. The opposite of get on would be get off. So get off a plane, a train, or a bus. Great. And as for the other kinds of transportation, for a bicycle, motorcycle, a horse, or even a boat, you get on because logically you're not inside the bicycle, you are on. So here we go with the logic, right? And to get off, we use the opposite of on or off. So to get off a bicycle, a bike, a motorcycle, a horse, etc. Great. So that was it for the block on prepositions.